Do the trashy pulp novels of the world have anything to offer? Are bestsellers all they're cracked up to be? Here at Terrible Book Club, we explore whether you really can judge a book by its cover, or its ridiculous synopsis. You ever passed a book and thought, ugh, who's reading this? We probably are.
Welcome to episode 159 of the Terrible Book Club. I'm Paris, and this is Chris.
Hello.
This time we read Dancing with Cats by Burton, Silver, and Heather Busch, published in 1999 by Chronicle Books. This was donated to the show by Tanner, who found it at an awesome used bookstore in Minneapolis that sadly no longer exists. I think the reasons we chose this for the show are clear enough in the title alone. Who wouldn't want to read about, dancing with your cat? Sounds fun. If this is your first time listening to this show, what we do here at the Terrible Book Club is read books that we assume will be bad based on their cover, title, summary, or some combination of the three. Sometimes, like today, we read books that our patrons, listeners, or friends recommend or donate to the show. So we do the opposite of what most people do in a bookstore or while they're browsing the internet, and usually this experiment results in a hilarious and disappointing read, but once in a while we end up liking the book. Content warnings. In addition to our usual barnyard language, today's episode includes discussion or mention of cats, obviously, and just a lot of new age woo-woo energy stuff. If last time you were like, this is too much woo-woo for me, this is
a nice little kind of gradient off of that.
Yeah, it's another of the shit tributaries, Chris was talking about in the last episode.
Yep.
So
shit tributaries, please.
It's not quite as heavy as the last book, but
it's definitely not as much involved here.
But somehow we're still on the etheric plane, we're still on the astral planes. Who would have guessed it? All right, Chris, since you have the physical book this time, could you read us kind of the back of the book summary, or perhaps what is in the front fold if there's no back of the book?
Yeah, this book is weird because it's got like that front fold thing happening, but it's not like it's a cover of a hardcover book. It's just as if it would be covering it's just a flappy thing. I mean, the literal back of the book just has 9 lives, 4 paws, and all the right moves. So, I mean, that's enough, right, to get you going.
Pretty good.
But the actual inner flap here to explain what the hell you're looking at says, while researching their groundbreaking book, Why Cats Paint, Burton, Silver, and Heather Busch discovered another phenomenon that seemed to merit further investigation. People who dance with their cats. Or more accurately, cats who dance with their people. All around the world today, people are rediscovering the ancient practice of cat dancing, tapping into the remarkable method of channeling feline energy. Share the gift of feline grace and connect with your cat on an entirely new level. Let yourself be inspired by the joyous photographs and moving testimonials in these pages. A brave leap forward in the history of human-feline relations. Dancing with Cats will have you and your cat jumping for joy and cutting a rug in no time.
Thank you, Chris. Thanks for that spirited reading.
I mean, I'm trying to match the energy we were seeing here.
So if you're sitting here or standing or walking here listening to this show and thinking, Dancing with Cats, it's probably just a clever title for, a memoir or something. No, it's literally about dancing with your cat. That is what we're talking about here. The characters in the setting are, you and your cat, and then a bunch of cat owners and their cats who dance together. We like to provide a short summary, usually short, of what the actual beats in the book are, or the grand theme, so that you can understand what we're dealing with here as we talk about the things that were good and bad with it. So for Dancing with Cats, all I've got is a group of people have developed a mass delusion in which they believe they can telepathically communicate with their cats and dance with them, generating powerful healing energies that can cure depression, arthritis, etc.
Yep. That's what you got here.
Yep.
I mean, it's like a 80-page book where most of it is photography and pictures. So it's a quick read. I did it 20 minutes sitting in a Capital One cafe somewhere in Massachusetts. Basically hunched over it in such a way because the pictures were so absurd that I did not want to be caught reading this in public, but I had nothing better to do at the time because I basically had to just wait for Paris to get out of work for us to do something else. But I was like in a corner, like up against a stone pillar in there, and I was like turning my body to face that pillar and hunching over the book and like folding it in half and trying to obscure any possible picture visibility with my physical body. By sitting in that fashion. So
no, you just gotta
hopefully no one saw me up in that Capital One cap. Honestly, I probably looked worse, right? It probably made it look creepier that I was like trying to hide this shit.
Yeah, some security guy is like reviewing camera footage and is like, what is that? Why does that guy look so suspicious? Wait, what is he reading? What is that? Enhance.
Why is there a nearly nude man with cats on that book?
Yeah. So, what was good about this book, Chris? What was good about Dancing with Cats?
I will say the photographs themselves are pretty good and fine and cool and good. Everyone seems to be having a good time. The cats mostly look like they're okay, although there's this one picture of what looks like a child about to cannonball directly into a cat's body. Here, that cat looks like it's trying to defend itself a little bit.
That cat looks
There's
like it's
another
gonna die.
one.
Yeah.
There is another one. I don't remember exactly where it is, but it looks like the cat is jumping up to claw at the person's face that is supposedly dancing with this one right here.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lady in like a bird tutu outfit.
Oh, yeah.
And this cat looks pretty much like it's going for her face.
Yeah, because she's dressed like a giant bird, which is prey to a cat. So I don't know what she was expecting. There's one photograph that sticks out. Well, there's a few that stick out in my mind, but one of them, in terms of the cats looking maybe not stoked, is the one where it's like this elderly couple and they're putting on a full play with the cat as a character, and they're all dressed up, and the cat is wearing a cone beak on its face, and the way they've captured the cat is it is leaping up, and it looks surprised and terrified to have a little cone on its face, and I feel very bad for it.
Yes, I see. I know our viewers our listeners can't see that one, but just to remind Paris of what's going on there, I had to show it on my webcam there.
Oh yeah, they'll see it. Don't worry, we'll take some pictures.
Oh good. Oh good, because there's some relevant context here.
So yeah, I mean, I guess cat pictures are like an almost universal source of enjoyment. So it was kind of fun to look through. That was about it.
Which, I mean, for a book that is mostly photography, that's a pretty big plus in its favor. I would say that if the photographs are pretty good, that it's a majority of like these full color photographs happening here, you would want that to be pretty good. So point in its favor, I suppose.
Well, how about we dissect what I said a little more carefully? I said cat pictures are almost universally enjoyed. The people contorting and wearing costumes and potentially nude in some of these, not things I want to see. I don't want to see people doing these things. So it was a little tough for me because I was like, oh, cat's bouncing around, that's fine. But then I have to look at, humans doing really bizarre motions and pretending to connect with their cats. It's just very weird.
True. That does, but I think that like if you had left any words out of this book and just made it the photographs by itself, even with the people in it, it would have been an insane fun journey. But I think I disagree with you because like there's the picture of the guy in like cat body paint in there, and that to me is an absurd delight that I needed to see. If it was just like his foot in the shot and it was like painted like a cat, I'd be like, what the fuck is going on there? I need to see more.
Yeah, there is. Chris is referencing perhaps the most notable image in which a man is wearing only a thong with a cat tail and he's painted like a cat, and yeah, that's in my mind forever now. So yeah, things that were bad. We didn't need a forward preface and introduction. Please condense the intros to your books. Why did we have to have 3 separate introductions to a book that is all picture? I mean, and they all kind of said the same thing. I honestly could not tell you the
Paris,
difference.
what's the difference between a forward and a preface and an introduction? I've never understood it. I'm too afraid to ask.
I guess I don't actually know, but in this case, they were indistinguishable and therefore should have been condensed.
It feels like they just had 3 people write something and they didn't expect all 3 of them to come back with something. They were like, oh shit, they'll be mad if I don't include it. So I guess you're a forward and you're intro and you're a preface. That's it. Okay, cool. I got it. Problem solved.
All good. Yeah, I found the pictures of the people like not nearly as enjoyable as the pictures of the cats. I really would have preferred focus on the cats and then just like, elements of the people being present. Like if we saw like an errant leg or hand or lock of hair, that's fine.
Yeah, hard disagree with you here, man. This is relevant to the context of why this is a fun picture book to me.
Yeah, I don't know. I just would have liked to focus on the cats. All right, so we got a lot of claims in this book. So this book does a lot of
we do.
For all of its brevity, it certainly makes a lot of claims, both historical and medical, and it got a lot of just saying things without citing any sources, saying things that do not seem obviously true, like dancing with cats is not new. The earliest written record of a cat dancing with a person is 1692, and the nursery rhyme "Hey Diddle Diddle" basically proves this. And then it like talks about the nursery rhyme, and I was just like, what?
Let me see if I can find the relevant passage here about "Hey Diddle Diddle." Yeah, the earliest written record of a cat dancing with a person dates from 1692, and evidence of the practice is alluded to in the nursery rhyme "Hey Diddle Diddle." Wait a minute, so that 1692 thing is a different claim that they just don't even tell you what that is.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. It's
someone in 1692 said that. Anyway, the cat in the fiddle is clearly a reference to the cat's supposed ability to somehow get us up and dancing, even causing the dish, parentheses, the maid, to run away with the spoon, parentheses, a crazy person. Real good analysis, real deep thoughts there. Because, the universal symbol of a maid, Paris, the dish.
Yes, and the spoon.
And then the spoon is symbol for a crazy. Everyone knows. You hold up a spoon, everyone's like, oh, I get it. Yeah, he's crazy. He's out of his mind. Because the spoon is because it's long, it holds your food. How is a spoon a crazy person?
I don't know how any of this makes any sense. I mean,
and listen, in 1692, someone talked about a cat dancing somewhere. Don't ask me where. I'm not going to tell you, but someone did. People are saying.
If you want more information on this nursery rhyme, seriously, just read the Wikipedia page for it. It's nothing about fucking dancing with cats. God damn it. It has nothing to do with that. At least from this cursory review here, and what is the significance of 1692 and cat dancing?
Cat Lumbus sailed the ocean blue.
You know what happens? We're going to bring back my favorite phrase from the last episode, an Ouroboros of suffering, because that is how I would describe trying to figure out what the fuck this person is talking about with the first recorded cat dancing in 1692. Because guess what? If you search for that, it just brings you back to the website for this book. It's just a big old circle of misery. So
they don't even tell you where to look,
nope.
Paris. They don't even tell you where they could possibly back up this claim.
And then it just continues like this throughout the whole, and it's bizarre because you're like, oh, a cute book about like people having fun with their cats. No, this is some fucking insidious shit. Okay, the next like fact is, okay, sorry, it's going to take me a little bit to explain, but if you have had a cat or if you've known someone with a cat, sometimes they get what we colloquially call the zoomies or the zooms, right? Where they just rocket around the house real fast. They're running around, just getting out their energy. This often occurs right after they poop. So the poop zoomies are kind of an observed common cat behavior. Some cats zoom, without the need for pooping, but many of them zoom post poop. So, I mean, a lot of, I think it's just like, oh, I'm getting my energy out, or like, oh, I feel so great. You feel pretty good after you poop, right? You're like, oh, I'm lighter. Like, I can run at the speed of fucking
Look how
sound.
fast I can go.
Yeah, like
rolling around at the speed of sound. Got no poop in my butt. Can run really fast now.
So, I mean, it's, again, just a common cat behavior. Makes sense. Cats are meant to be active, and, you feel pretty good after you poop, right? No, this book says that poop zoomies are actually cats trying to get us to dance.
That's what they really want. They want to get down.
Yeah. Cats are not just running around. It's an invitation to dance. Do you accept the invitation? I find that very difficult to believe, especially since there's no citations from veterinarians or like animal behaviorists or anything.
This poop zoomologist.
Yeah, I need a poop zoomologist down here in room 43 stat. Poop zoomologist. Please report to room 43. It just continues with the claims, saying cats will bob their heads and swish their tails in time to music if they like it.
I mean, maybe some cat somewhere has done that, but
sure.
It's definitely not most cats.
No, and that's the thing. It's stated as though it is like a reaction that is so consistent that it definitely happens all the time. And no, I have had many cats, and I've never seen them bob their head to music or swish their tail.
Because you're listening to that devil music, Paris. How are they supposed to keep time with those blast beats?
Do you think... Okay, so it says in time. So what if you played, like, something in, like, I don't know, 17-9 or something? The cat's got it. She's got it.
Well, you can't have 9 as a denominator, but, I mean, I guess you're doing some real crazy Meshuggah shit.
Point being, like, I don't think a cat would... I don't feel in my heart of hearts, based on my lived experience, that makes any sense.
Most I've seen is like the videos of the cat with like a mechanical metronome that's going, and they'll kind of like every time it clicks, they do like the little scared cat like reaction kind of a thing. Perhaps if you have the music loud enough and there's a very like 4 on the floor thumping kick drum or something like that, they might react in time to that. But yeah, I don't think it's an observed behavior with a lot of cats that they would bob around or switch their tail in time with music. I think some birds do that.
Birds definitely, but birds are very musical creatures. Birds sing and build songs to each other depending on the species, so like that makes more sense. Cats don't have songs. Cats don't do music stuff. In fact, their verbalizations, at least the ones we're used to, them meowing, are just based on their proximity to humans and knowing that if they meow like a kitten, they can get something from us. It's not something they do in the wild. Cats don't meow in the wild. They're not making little chirpy songs in the wild. So
little cat DJ out there. I'm dropping my EP next month. I promise. I know it's been like a year since I've been working on it, but like, listen, I'm out here catching all these like rats and mice and stuff. It just kind of gets in the way. I had a chance to like really sit down and like work on it. Like, I'm trying to get the lyrics out, and I just keep coming back to the same old themes of like poop zoomies and lying around and like how much I want this nice juicy rat. So I'm just not feeling inspired, guys. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I again, like, this isn't, and I'm not saying, like, oh, I don't believe this ever could be true. I'm saying, you gotta convince me, because this isn't a fact I just know by, like, stepping out of my house or, like, watching a cat for 5 minutes. Like, it's not an obvious known fact, so you need to provide some kind of citation. Like, even if I know this is supposed to be just a fun picture book, just put a citation in there. It's not hard. It's really not hard. It wouldn't ruin anyone's enjoyment, and it would lend some credibility to what you're saying. Oh, right, but you can't cite anything because this is bullshit, and there is no source for this.
I don't think, and people that wrote the text in this book have ever cited a source in their entire lives. It's one of those things that they just don't ever think to have to do.
Here we go. Here's our next fun claim. Dancing with cats can get so powerful that, quote, an unstable etheric oscillation could collapse into an astral vortex and suck my spiritual reserves into a state of negative submatter, end quote. Man.
Yeah, this is an especially hippy-dippy dude in one of those sections that makes that claim about how, oh man, I'm charging up my cat. My cat is going Super Saiyan with all this etheric energy right now. Just like if you don't hold it back, you're gonna get sucked into. What does he say? I should know this from the last book.
Well, he says
suck my spiritual reserves into a state of negative submatter. See, that doesn't align with what Niles McFleur was saying. So someone's wrong here, Paris.
Uh-oh.
I think someone's wrong here.
Well, Maybe Catherine Gollin can explain, since she's a
Oh.
psychohistorian who notes that women were known to
good.
dance with cats as a means of building up energy states to positively influence various psychic processes.
Psychohistorian to me sounds like a really fun job where it's like a historian, but you're also out of your fucking mind. You're like, well, when Genghis Khan crossed into the lower parts of Europe at one point, he was also dancing with cats at the same time, and that allowed his army to take over because everyone was just so enthralled with the etheric energy from all the dancing cats that they just were sublimated to Genghis Khan's will, and everyone else in the fucking like PhD defense session is like, what the fuck?
Yeah. So I tried to find this woman, Catherine Gollin, this psychohistorian. I can't find anything. I don't know if this person...
They locked her up.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like, there's people named Catherine Gollin, but none of them seem to be psychohistorians that are referencing women dancing with cats to influence psychic processes. There seems to be a lot of connection between, like, well, cats are related to psychic energy because, like, witches used to have them. It's like, dude, what? Like, that is... It's like fairy tale shit. Like, what are you talking about?
Sure, and like maybe we can like make a point of like the reason this was in like old tales is because X, Y, and Z, but it ain't this.
Yeah, I don't know. Just very confusing. Like if you're citing, I mean, this is like their only attempt at a citation, even though it just says like, hey, this person said this, and I can't find that anyone actually said that, or that person might not even exist. I know this book came out in 1999, which was quite a time ago, but still, it would...
1999, real banner year for woo-woo.
Oh my god, you're right. Both of these came out in 90... You know what's funny is I was telling Chris, I was like, I didn't set this up. Like, I didn't choose Afterlife Love followed by Dancing with Cats because they were related. I had no idea they were related. I had no idea they were both written in 1999.
Yeah, you thought it was just some cat dancing thing. That would be a nice palate cleanse from the last book.
Because it was so short, too, because we try to layer things so that we don't lose our minds completely. In any case, there's just a lot of claims about this tradition and history of people dancing with cats, and I could find nothing other than the website for this book. I could find nothing about this. Maybe, I guess it's possible that it could be called something other than dancing with cats. Maybe that's my problem, the terminology here, but that's what I was given. Not finding it. I mean, they're like...
You know what really happened, Paris?
What?
Catherine Gollin just got all the other people that had a source. She took them all out.
Maybe.
Because she's a psychohistorian.
Yeah, I just...
You cite her, she'll hunt you down. Don't ever... Oh, shit, we brought her up. Oh.
Uh-oh, she's coming. Oh, Lord.
Lock your doors.
Here's another fun thing. They don't state this outright, but in quotations from, the interviews with people in the book, there are quotes scattered about that are like, my cat cured my depression, or like cured my arthritis. And my favorite, my cat cured my thing section is Enid, who claims that she
Enid
allows her cat to sleep on her underwear and her shawl. And when she wraps her shawl around her hands, her arthritis goes away. And then when she wears her underwear that the cat has slept on, it makes her hips more agile. And I don't think your cat is making your hips fuck better, Enid. I don't think
you know what it is, Paris?
Happening.
It's she's huffing the cat piss fumes so much because the cat's probably just pissing all over those things, and she's getting so high that she just the arthritis doesn't even register.
Maybe it's that.
Enid's also a personal favorite of mine, by the way.
Maybe it's toxoplasmosis. Maybe that's what it is.
It could be. Enid's one of my favorites in this book because she's the one that like has like a haughty attitude about cat dancing.
Yes.
Especially with like cats that like aren't proper cat dancers. There's a section here. According to Enid, these forces are channeled through Elgar, her cat, and released during the dance. The more graceful and at ease a cat is, the more peaceful and calming the energy received by its human dance partner will be. I've tried dancing with cats who are just hopeless, she complains. Overfed, bored felines who can't be bothered, and others who just want to show off. They leap about, twisting this way and that, without imparting any insight or spiritual depth at all. Ian, shut the fuck up. Let the cat dance all they want. You're not the fucking cat dancing art critic here.
Yeah, could it maybe be because cats aren't dancing? and you're just trying to rate cats on like how they're existing and playing. Yeah, I mean, and so the whole book is about how dancing with your cat is good and how you should do it, but it fails on the instruction part. The only instructions given are you have to do mirroring activities with your cat, and it can take weeks or months of doing these. So by mirroring, they mean like you have to like do exactly what your cat is doing and then try to get it to do exactly what you're doing. And it doesn't say anything about positive reinforcement or anything. It just says try to do mirror stuff with your cat. And then the second step is just believe.
Of course. Good old believe. Good old, I mean, a lot of the time believe is just a substitute for don't worry about it. Just don't worry about it.
Well,
don't think that hard.
It's a combination of like believe and also don't be around people who don't believe that cats can dance, because then it won't work. So if you have someone watching you who doesn't think cats can dance, then it won't work.
If the entire time you're dancing with the cat that your friend is standing there going, this is fucking stupid, dude. I'm gonna go. It might kind of kill the vibe for you, and you might not actually get sucked into the negative submatter plane when your cat went dancing on you.
So, I mean, instead of real instructions as to like how to play with your cat better and do this activity or this trick, it's like culty religious bullshit. Like, man, I just want to play with my cat. I just want to have a good time.
Right, like what? If this book was just like, you can try to dance with your cat and it might be fun to do that because it's fun to play with your animals. Like, that is fine. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not going to say don't dance with your cat.
Right, no. And even if, you were like, oh, try to get it to, if you wanted to teach your cat the trick of mirroring your movements, here is what you could do. That's also fine. If you want to do that instead of just romping around with your cat, like, not knocking that at all, but why does it have to be about cults and the fucking astral plane? Like, why is it still happening?
Why? Can't we just have, like, things can be fine and enjoyable even in just, like, the normal state? People are always trying to add this extra layer of, like, oh, I'm, like, ascending to the spiritual. How about it's nice to play with your cat?
Yeah,
right?
I mean,
like,
that's
how
the other
can't we just have a simple enjoyment, Paris? Can't you just be like, my cat's fluffy and nice and I love it and I want to run around with it?
Yeah, and that's like the other thing about this that's surprising is that there is scientific evidence that having a pet is beneficial to you. Like, it is healthy for some people to have a pet because you have companionship, you have, another creature to kind of do things with, which can keep your mind nimble. You have something to take care of. It can help, keep you like focused. There are a lot of documented reasons why having a pet can actually be good for your health and, can help your mind, or, in some cases, that might have runoff effects to your body. And yet they don't talk about any of that. They're like, no, let your cat sleep on your underwear and he'll cure your arthritis. Like, that's not, like, you're missing it. You're missing the entire thing. There's real things
right,
you talk about.
Right, it's like you have like a beautiful meal in front of you and it tastes good, and then you start going into like, well, like the cow that this burger was made out of was like such, a connected spiritual cow, and that's why this tastes good. No, it tastes pretty good, man, and we can have the simple enjoyment of that. This bread is extra good because it has the astral plane energy of the seventh subray, and I taught it to connect with me mentally. Can it just be good? Can't you just have a simple, nice enjoyment and appreciation of the mundane, because you need that to kind of get, at least I need that. I need the simple enjoyment of food tastes good, and that works for me.
God, this is like every shitty restaurant that tries to convince you that their food is like, I don't know, made by fucking naiads, like on a shoreline in Greece, and they're like, yeah, this cheese is harvested from buffaloes by naiads in Greece, and you're like, okay, does it taste good? Like, I don't care who harvest. Yeah,
I care about like your ethical sourcing of materials and stuff like that. But correct. Like the particular, maybe the particular process is kind of interesting. But in the end, it's just like, okay, cool, that's nice that's part of it. But like, does it taste good? That's the simple enjoyment that I like.
And in this case, don't ask yourself, does your cat taste good? We want you to ask yourself, like, am I having a good time having this pet? Or is this a mutually beneficial thing? Cool.
That's all it has to be.
Yeah.
You don't have to add in all this extra layers of like fucking energy condiments here, like my astral ketchup,
condiments,
spiritual mayonnaise. You're just gonna ruin it, man. Just it's fine on its own.
Oh, that must be what they found in like Coming Level 2. Maybe it was like spiritual maybe.
That's true. Then that previous book.
So as I was looking at this, I started to notice that, or I noticed one thing and then it led me to extrapolate into a different idea. So I noticed that there's a 17-year-old girl named Arya, which is of course spelled Arija because she has to be cool. So Arya is a very adept cat dancer despite being 17, and she's dancing with her cat Petipa. Then I noticed that there was another person, an older man named Ralph, dancing with Petipa. So I was like, oh, this dude recruited his daughter into cat dancing, which feels extra weird. And then I started to think, I wonder if, I was like, this must just be a group of people who know each other, who are all in this shared delusion. You know, it's like foyadu, but foya, I don't know, what's the French word for like 12 people? I don't know. It's like just a shared delusion that a bunch of friends have, because, you know, if you have a father and daughter, and then the people who wrote the book, I think, are partners, like, and then there's a handful of other people, they must just all know each other and just be fucking weirdos that think.
Yeah, they found themselves on like some kind of weird, Discord or internet forum about cat dancing, and everyone was like, yeah, it's not like, yeah, I think I'm ascending to the astral plane. And then Dave comes in with like, well, be careful, because if you do it too hard, you'll get into the negative submatter realm. And they're like, yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, that does sound like a forum in 1999. I think that's probably true. Man, 1999 sucked. I don't remember liking it particularly. Remember everyone thought fucking Y2K, like the world was going to end on New Year's Eve.
Yeah, well, you know what happened, Paris, is all the cat dancers dancing just the right way, and they prevented that from happening. That's my claim that I'm making right here. Don't ask me for a source.
No, you're probably right. I mean, we're still here, so you're right.
Yeah, sounds right.
There's more than one person in this book, speaking of like outrageous claims, that believes they can transmit exact dance steps to the cats with their mind. And this one kid, like Arya, the 17-year-old girl I mentioned earlier, she thinks if she colors the thought blue in her head, the cat receives it better. And then another guy tried to get a move like sent to his cat's mind, but then he thought about a race car and the cat crashed into a bookshelf like a race car.
It can't just be the cat was running around with you, and like cats can often have little coordination when they're running that fast, right?
Nope.
I mean, this is like confirmation bias case 1, right?
Yeah, it's a lot of that. There's the guy we talked about who was just wearing like a thong and a cat tail and had painted himself in stripes. He said that when he puts on the fake tail, he now thinks about birds differently. I put on a cat tail and birds are tasty now.
I mean, poultry's a thing, man. You're not breaking any new ground here.
Oh, sure, but he's saying he thinks about birds differently. So that, to me, means, like, you're looking at a sparrow and going,
whatever your method is, right? Like, everyone's got their process for whatever they're doing.
What is this process? What is he achieving by thinking about birds being tasty?
Being more cat-like so he can dance with his cat and achieve feline Saiyan 3. And his hair will turn into like cat hair, but it's like glowing green or something, or blue.
Yeah,
I don't know,
man. I guess if he wants to become a cat, sure, great. Oh God, we forgot. I fucked up the content warnings again. I forgot that there was this like weird. I don't know, weird. I'm not sure. I don't know. Would you call this racist or would you call this just boomer shit? I don't know. I guess
I just generally under like how the boomer shit just likely has this a little bit too. So
you know what? I would love for you to read that passage so we can get a full sense, because it has two fun things in it. Phrasing.
If I remember.
Phrasing, people. Phrasing. Just look for the veils, Chris. It should be easy to spot.
Sooty twirls dervishly between Jane's swirling veil, responding with a series of graceful hip gyrations of her own. Jane's husband used to maintain that Sooty's jumping about was simply her excitement at the veil fluttering like a bird. But, Jane says, when he saw her waggling her hips into the music, he had to admit Pussy was really dancing. Jane thinks Sooty might be a reincarnated harem princess, or maybe she somehow absorbed the moves from always sleeping on the pile of Seventh Veil magazines in the living room. Either one, maybe she just got the, from osmosis from sleeping on the magazines, or she's a reincarnated harem princess. Could be either.
weird, just like fetishization of another group of people that doesn't need to happen. Just does not need to happen. Also, to tell me that a cat's hips are gyrating, I don't think I've ever seen a cat gyrate their hips.
I mean, cats are different. They might have different personalities. Some of them might have weird movements. Just
sure,
look at What's Wrong with Your Cat? That subreddit.
Yeah.
While we're on that topic of weird shit here, in the process of finding that passage, I stumbled upon this one that we can't forget to mention here.
Yeah.
Helen believes that Boots, her 4-year-old Persian, dances so well with her because they share a lot in common. He's a Scorpio, and I have the sun in Pisces, so there's a good deal of karmic support. Also, our auras usually match, and numerologically, we're both 8s, which makes for a strong psychic bond. So really got all that numerology, some karma, a little astrology. However, to ensure the correct energy balances, Helen finds that adjustments to the physical environment may be necessary. I had the Feng Shui Catman in last year, and he had me place the cat door in the living room wall instead of the back door. That realignment really got Boots bunny hopping and stomping properly again.
Can you imagine having like the money and resources and time to be like, I'm going to physically move this door from one end of my home to the other?
And to hire the Feng Shui Catman, it's the Paris because there's just one dude doing that out there, I hope.
Yeah, there's one Feng Shui Catman. I don't know, man. I wish that like I had lied to people and convinced them that I could do things like that. Like, yeah, I'm the just make up something. Like, yeah, I'm the dog yoga guy. If you just do dog yoga with me, then you'll ascend into, your consciousness will be raised to such a degree and you can communicate with your dog. If that doesn't work with you, perhaps you should try my astrology bird friend here. He also can maybe get you where you need to go. Look, maybe you just need the fish chiropractor, okay? Like, maybe gotta crack that goldfish a little bit. Don't goldfish not have bones, don't worry about it. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
That's why they need the chiropractor.
Yeah, we actually add bones and then go to the fish.
Then shatter them.
Anyway, we've got our last just little passing nugget of like what in the actual fuck that happened in this book.
You thought this book could happen at all, but you never thought that incest cardigans would be a thing, would you, in this book?
Well, now they are. Get your incest cardigans. All right, Chris, you want to read the relevant passage?
Okay, this one's easy to spot because there's cats in cardigans here.
Yeah, that's true. Or sweaters or
Hold on.
dresses? I thought it was sweaters. Yeah, cardigans.
It's cardigans. Yeah. 2 little newborn cardigans Joy found in the attic turned out to be irresistible to Pinkle and Tonk. The pink and blue jackets quickly became their favorite playthings, and one day, when Joy dressed them up in them, the cats reacted in a most uncharacteristic way. Tonk doesn't usually play with Pinkle or vice versa, says Joy, but with the cardigans on, they leap all over each other like they were just thrilled to be together. Usually cats hate things on them, but Tonk especially is happy to wear hers all day. It was only recently that Joy learned that the jackets had been knitted for her great-aunt and uncle who had lived in the Australian outback. They were extraordinarily close, never married, and spent all their lives together. Okay, so you saved the newborn-sized cardigans, and this somehow created the cardigans have bond energy on them?
Yes, so to clarify, we're talking about the 2 kittens are being possessed by the spirits of incestuous great aunt and uncle through their baby sweaters.
I mean, we're speculating here because they, apparently never married and never went anywhere else besides their Australian outback place where they lived their whole lives.
I mean, I feel like we're right. I feel like we've got possessed incest sweaters.
Paris, if they don't have to cite their sources, neither do we.
Yeah,
okay?
That's right. Oh, I don't know. Is there anything else we wanted to discuss other than how shocking this book was?
No, I mean, I think we can just go right into the can we fix it portion, which I think the notes you had on this is just mirroring what I would have to say about it.
Oh, yeah. So can we fix it? Just make a fun book about like playing with your cats and how having a pet is beneficial with some sources, but just leave out the concepts. The cats will cure your diseases, but you might build up so much energy that a mind tornado will tear your soul from you. Please, fewer photos of people, more of the cats. Thanks.
That's the one part I disagree with. Leave the people in. That's fun. That's funny to see.
Yeah, I would have been fine if they were just like, oh, here's the people dancing around. Fine, whatever.
We just dressed up people weird and made them dance with their cats, and we took pictures of it. I would totally look at that Instagram. Wouldn't you look at that Instagram?
Yeah, I would look at that Instagram, dancing with cats.
Exactly.
But in any case, I was just shocked by how much weird and terrible shit was in this like picture
You can
book
cram it
about
all.
cats.
You don't need that much text.
I cannot believe this, and I only saw this when Tanner, my fiance, was like moving stuff here, and we're like putting books on shelves, and I was like, "What is this?" And he was like, "Oh, I got that from that bookstore that closed. I forget what it was called, but it was in Minneapolis, and it was near his house." And I was just like, "This is incredible." This is also the man who had like lesbian nuns, and then that what was the one we read that he also had? It was like, why are women funny anyway, or something weird like that.
Can I be a feminist, ma, or something?
Can I be a feminist and like men or something? It was just...
Yeah.
Anyway, so from the troves, we found Dancing with Cats, and it sure was a time. Hey,
all right. Well, thanks to Tanner for that one.
Yeah, thanks, Tanner. And maybe I'll try to dance with my cat. I don't know. He just looks like a little croissant right now. He's all curled up, so.
Yeah, there might be some supplementary content here. While we're thanking Tanner, let's also thank our patrons for supporting the show. Thank you to Greg, Veronica, Will, D, Jared, Arant, Senia, Jakub, Lycoris, Elliot, Kieran, Martin, Luchek, Miri, Yanka, David, Anya, Patricia, Austin, Donnie, Crimson Paladin, Beast with the Least, Scott H, Robin, Laxtodes, Of the Void, The Taco Eating Unicorn, Last Man on Earth 01, Funny Robot with Antennas, Hobbyboy93, Harry, Renee, Emmy, Julius the Nice Dragon, and our Ko-fi donor, Kiwi Thang. Thank you so much, everybody. All right, Paris, I'm going to go attempt to dance with the cat that I've been living with for over a decade that just hisses at me anytime I walk by.
Well,
Let's see how that goes.
She's got cat PTSD. I don't know if dancing can cure that,
True.
but you can try.
That's true. All right, Paris. See you later.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Terrible Book Club. Terrible Book Club is an independent podcast produced by your hosts, Paris and Chris. Sound design and audio editing by Chris, with sound effects and music by Epidemic Sound and sometimes also Chris. Our theme song is Kiss by Yearn, which is, you guessed it, actually also Chris. You can find more of his soothing synthy sounds on Bandcamp at yearn.bandcamp.com. Do you want us to review a book of your choice on the show? Do you want access to some extra audiovisual weirdness? If so, become a patron at patreon.com/terriblebookclub. If you'd like to send us a one-time tip instead, you can do that at ko-fi.com/terriblebookclub. You can also support TBC for free by sharing the show on social media, following our accounts on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, or Goodreads, telling your friends about your favorite episode, or by leaving a review on Apple Podcasts, Podchaser, or anywhere else on the internet. To send us book recommendations or your adorable pet photos, send an email to terriblebookclub@gmail.com.